I have a personal trainer, obviously. And it's actually very annoying because he signed up to Entrepreneur Circle and is a member. And so we spend a lot of time telling people to raise their prices. And I spend a lot of time trying to convince him to do that for everyone else.
Welcome to Business Growth Central with the Bottrells.
The father and son's team who built dozens of seven-figure businesses.
And generated over £100 million in sales. And since 2010, we've run Entrepreneur Circle, the UK's largest organisation helping businesses to grow.
Every week we're sharing practical tactics,
Swipeable strategies, and powerful nuggets to help you to grow your business. This is Business Growth Central.
with the Bottrells.
Yeah, welcome back to Business Growth Central. I'm Nigel Bottrell, the founder of Entrepreneur Circle.
I'm Cameron Bottrell, the managing director here at Entrepreneur Circle.
And I'm Elliott Bottrell, the chief marketing officer here at Entrepreneur Circle.
You're the chief.
Oh,
yes. He's the chief.
Together, we are the Bottrells. And if you're a business owner and you have a question or a challenge that you'd like our help and input on, then please send it in to podcast@entrepreneurcircle.org and maybe we'll be answering your question on a future episode.
Right, let's get stuck in.
Let's.
You know why?
Why?
I'm a bit grumpy.
Oh. Not again.
I'm tired.
Did you not sleep well?
No, I got a call at 2:15 a.m.
Oh my God. Who's calling you at that time?
You know when you're in, I was properly deeply asleep. And
I should hope so.
The
Yes.
phone rang. Well, the alarm had gone off here in the office. And the first two people on the alarm company's list had not answered their phone. So the third person on the list was called.
Wow.
So I was a bit of a rude awakening, really. Yeah. Anyway, it turns out we've had not a burglar, a collapsed roof.
Just a minor collapsed roof.
Yeah,
Nothing to stress about too much.
It will survive, but a ceiling tile has come down.
Yeah.
And saturated with water.
I feel like it's almost like a metaphor for running a business.
That's actually quite big.
I think that, if anything, it's an example, isn't it, of just, as business owners, sometimes people forget, people who aren't business owners, just all the random stuff we have to deal with. You know, as a business owner, you're just in charge of everything that no one else is in charge of. And that includes leaky roofs and dodgy ceiling tiles and alarms going off in the middle of the night. And this is the burden we have to carry.
Well,
the not so glamorous side of running a business.
But isn't it great that we get to do it, really, honestly?
Well, it is,
You know,
as long as it doesn't take up too much of your time.
Yes.
And you can spend some time doing all the actual fun and exciting stuff that's growing the business and driving things forward and helping customers, you know?
But if I nod off during this broadcast, just give me a nudge.
We'll do the usual, just to give you the little nudge, to perk you up.
That's the reason why. So,
Yes, gosh, and another exciting week, obviously, here at ECHQ, despite the leaky ceilings and
there's always
the dodgy stuff going on.
which is great. And I do feel genuinely very fortunate that we do get to do all the great stuff we do.
Yeah, well, again, there's got to be some perks of being a business owner.
Got 62 licensed coaches coming to see me today.
Yes.
That'll be next. It'll be quite cool. From all over the country coming here to our training suite. We've got a great day with them lined up.
The big development day.
What's the core topic of discussion with them?
I'm not sure I want to talk about that really, but a lot of them are not quite yet where they want to be. So we're going to help them get there. That's the fundamental.
I don't think you ever truly are when you're in business, eh?
Well, no, that's not true.
Ooh.
No. I absolutely am. I'm very content. I think it's simple. I think it's one of the most important things actually in life as well as business is to be aware of what enough is. You know, where you actually want to be. What does success actually look like? And you guys know, and I'm in a very fortunate position and been there for quite a long time. Really, there's nothing I aspire to that I haven't got. Other than not losing what I've got, which is quite a big driver actually. Yeah. And obviously we bought this building last year, which was a big investment.
The one with the leaky roof?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. So actually the focus today a lot of it will be around getting clarity on what you want, and as a business owner, so many people are just on the treadmill, and there is this sort of, it'll just keep going forever until something external happens. And actually, we are in this fabulous position of being able to decide what success looks like and what we actually want. And if we design that and map it out, then we can very consciously move towards it. And most people, when they've got clarity, real clarity as to what they actually want, can get there. But that's...
If only we did an episode on this.
Yeah, well, what an interesting point.
Yeah. So that's the plan for today.
It is.
And have you had an exciting week, Ian?
My week is very... Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. It's time. A business owner needs help. Quick. No one cares about your week, Elliott. Something more important is happening. Let's see.
What have we got? What have we got? What have we got?
It's a question. Who'd have thought it? For the benefit of new listeners and viewers, every week business owners send us questions that are delivered by magical scroll, which drops from the ceiling, and we help them with their business challenges. This is from Rachel Hadley.
Okay.
Welcome, Rachel. Rachel says, "Hi, guys. Hello. I run a salon, and we're at full capacity.
Oh, great.
Every chair is taken, and we're now turning new clients away. It feels like a wasted opportunity, but we simply don't have space to add any more stations. It's a great position to be in, but I'm stuck on how to actually grow from here. What do you do?" Wow, goodness gracious.
A tremendous question.
That is great. She's done really well to get in that position.
Yeah, it's a dream.
And again, it's like first thing is like, whew, what a great place to be, Rachel. That's fantastic.
Celebrate.
Much respect. Now put up your prices.
That's definitely the first place to go, right? I mean, putting up your prices is almost, it's the closest thing I think that business owners have to this elusive silver bullet. You know, I think it's the one thing that is so quick and easy to do and has such a huge impact on almost every aspect of your business.
Yeah.
And the only hurdle, the main hurdle, the thing that stops people from doing it is all up in here. It's just the psychological problems that come with raising your prices and the doubt that comes with
That's
it.
exactly what it is. That people worry, don't they?
Yeah. You know, if I put up my prices, suddenly I'll lose all my customers. Except that's obviously not true, is it?
Do you remember, it's quite a few years ago this, do you remember your mum got me a present for Christmas one year and she got me a set of 10 personal training sessions with a personal trainer?
Still got them, haven't you?
I do still
Need to cash in a few of them.
It's like, I do think actually, if I look back over the 30 odd years,
What a passive aggressive Christmas present.
Sue and I mixed together. I think that probably was the worst present she ever bought me. But what happened was, so this guy was a personal trainer, and he came. So the principle was he would come to me in the office, which was interesting because we didn't have the lovely office that we've got now.
You didn't have a gym,
We
did
didn't
you?
have a gym in the office, and he's going to come to me. And the big thing at the time, and the business was quite a lot smaller than it is now. Then we had a team. I had a team of people, but not as big as it was now. And so it was very important to me that I would be able to have these personal training sessions at a time that was convenient for me. And as a long story, I showed willing, and I invited him in, and I think I used the first of my sessions, just to talk about how we would
Here's how this is going to work.
plan those lessons. And long story, what emerged is this guy, and at the time, this is a few years ago, but at the time he was charging £25 an hour for personal training sessions. And the session turned into a little bit of therapy for him, really, because he had a partner who was a big go-ahead salesperson doing really, really well in her job. And he was feeling a little bit emasculated. And she just won a prize, and they'd been to Barbados on a holiday, but effectively she had won as part of her work because she performed so well in sales. And he was very concerned that he wasn't able to take her to Butlins, let alone Barbados, because on £25 an hour as a personal trainer, and he was working very, very hard. And when I talked about my need for flexibility, he didn't have any flexibility because basically he was working like 10 hours a day at £25 an hour. So a bit like Rachel, he was full. And so I said to him, well, you should double your prices. And he said, well, I can't do that because I'd lose half my customers. To which I point out that would be a really great thing to happen for him because he'd have the same money coming in and half his week back. So he could go out and get more clients at that kind of price. But he could not cope with this. He could not cope with this, and I didn't work with him. I'm not going to lie; it was quite convenient for me not to be able to use my personal trainer because he had no capacity. But but I would have done, and I would have paid him the 50 quid an hour. And there are lots of other people that would pay the right customers who are much less price sensitive, and would have paid him. And I think, Rachel, the first thing to do here is genuinely to look at your pricing, and because if you're working hard and you're full and people are loving what you're doing, which is a great thing to do, then actually this is a very logical and sensible thing for you to do. So start to raise the prices and kind of almost like keep raising them until you start having a little bit of capacity, and you might be surprised how far that goes. But it needs a bit of thought. I'm not just you won't be clever.
Well, of course, and I think that for someone in Rachel's position, when you've got a salon, like a business like that, a physical location which is at capacity, then you've really only got a few options in terms of growth. One is to raise the prices, so you're getting more out of it.
Yep.
One is to maybe add some more services, some premium services to what you're doing there.
Yeah.
But if your calendar's full, then that's going to be difficult. One option you've got is to just open another salon and actually increase the capacity that way.
Okay.
Obviously, that is a lot more work and effort than actually playing around and optimizing what we've got here to make the most out of it.
Yeah.
And there'll definitely be some times when there are people sat in chairs taking up slots that people would pay a lot more for that are paying a lot less. Be it, the old friends and family discount, the old long customer discounts.
Well, the other thing that, Nigel, is a physiotherapist that we did some work with who was in a very similar situation to Rachel. And what I advised him to do, and he did, and he executed this really, really well, this guy. This is a big contrast actually between the personal trainer who did fuck all and the physiotherapist who actually executed really, really well. And what I suggested to him, and this might work well for you, Rachel, as a first step. So he had differential pricing by time of appointment. Now, they were all being seen by him. And basically, you could continue to be seen by him at the same price if you came between 9 a.m. and 11:30 in the morning, or between 2:30 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. If you came at lunchtime, it was a higher price.
Yeah.
And if you came early in the morning or after 5 o'clock in the evening, it was a higher price still. So he had 3 price bands based on the time of day when you came, which is a really good way to introduce the price, because the people that want to keep getting the service for the same price can, for those that have got, but they pick their time. And so that can be a really nice first step. Now, he put that in, and that was a 20% growth in his income for the same work. And it all self-selected. There was much less scary for him to do.
Yeah.
So that might be a route, Rachel.
I think when it comes to pricing, there's so much more to raising your prices than just increasing the number that you're charging people, Adding these different options, adding these little variances. I think that, gosh, you must have seen loads of different versions of price rising in your time with your marketing clients.
Yeah, I am a big fan of price rises, which contrasts with my disdain for inflation. But in business, it is a truly big lever. And what I always love to do, because it's hard to really grasp the impact of a price rise on your business unless you dive in and do the money maths. And so one of the things I would greatly encourage our viewers, and what we do across all of our clients, and indeed in our own business, is get a little spreadsheet up and we begin to model out how different our business would be at different price levels. Because I think it's a very important thing to do is actually look at your business, because depending on how much revenue, your personal income that you're trying to drive, your prices greatly determine the amount of work and operational headache you have to deal with in exchange of getting that goal. And actually, the differences in reality you can create by manipulating those prices can give you the impetus and the action to actually get off the ledge and do it. Because you've talked about the fear of loss, and we live the fear of loss. We tap into, which the scientists will call it the loss aversion bias that we all have as humans, which is our innate desire to not lose what we've already got. And that is what you have to overcome when it comes to raising your prices, because of this fear that your existing customers
will run away,
are just going to get up and flop away. And in many cases, that can be quite good. But I have 2 good examples to where I've witnessed the power of price rises. So one was with a client who was a coach. So she actually coaches anxious horse riders, and she sells an online course.
Riders.
There's a
Okay.
niche.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to say anxious horses.
And so bear in mind, the audience is very anxious. So therefore, would hypothesize would be most receptive or anxious about a price rise. But the economics behind her selling her online course, she was making a very small income when we started working together. And I said, we've got to increase your price. And, we ran the models, ran through the numbers, but still she was super anxious. So we agreed, let's just knock it up 20%. And we did. Next week, we had the exact same amount of sales. So we said, great, we'll knock it up another 20%.
Nice.
Next week, we had the same amount of sales. Knocked it up another 20%. And we did that for 8 weeks until we had, from the beginning to now, 5x the price.
Wow.
And what was happening? We were getting more sales at this newer, higher price
Interesting.
than at the lower price, because the perceived value to the clients had gone up so much that now they were coming through.
And prices play a bit. It's a really great example of that. And again, I'm not thinking about how I might be using it in our salon here.
Do you remember when I had my little side hustle selling hoverboards?
Oh yeah, when you were 15.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
In
I-
your GCSE year.
This is the-
Your mother and I were very concerned. He's never going to pass those exams.
Wow, this was more important. This is more useful. Life skills. But I did pass my exams. Those hoverboards, like the little two-wheel balancy things, not actual hoverboards. Back when they were all the craze, I imported like 100 of them in from China to sell. Started the hoverboard company.
You still owe me storage for the garage that you still...
Minor details. But what was really interesting there was when they first arrived. I actually think everyone who works in a business should at some point just start a little business, because I think it was so educational for me as a child having this business, because talking about stuff, thinking about stuff, seeing other people do stuff is one thing, but when you're like stood in your family garage with boxes up to here everywhere and you've suddenly got all these hoverboards to sell and you've just spent your entire life savings on buying these things and shipping them over, it suddenly puts things into perspective. You suddenly really care about what you're spending on Facebook ads and stuff to get them over. But part of that is about the pricing. And that was such an interesting example for me, because I found that if I priced the hoverboards too low, then actually it was harder to sell them. Because instinctively people thought, they must be rubbish. These must be those dodgy ones that catch fire and explode, or. And so actually, by making the prices higher, like you said, actually it attracted the right kind of person, but also the people who saw it, because the price was higher, just assumed and instilled like a higher quality in the product, and so it became more desirable. And I think sometimes doing little price tests like that. You don't need to go all in and just blanket raise your prices 5x. You can just take one sales page, just run some ads to a standalone page with a different price and just see what happens and just test it.
Here's an interesting test that we did. So we were working with a client, and again, they were a business coach and they had an online program. And it was very, very, very high-end stuff. And we did a price test, and we tried selling this program at the end of a webinar, was the mechanism. And we tested it at £4,000, at £3,500, at £3,000, £2,000, etc., at £500 increments, all the way down to £500.
Okay.
So our range was 500
Okay.
and 4,000. Which one do you think was the most successful?
By most successful, do you mean made the most money?
Yeah.
Generated the most revenue? Gosh, well,
We can agree it's not going to be the £500.
given what we're talking about today, it better not be the £500 one.
We'll eliminate the £500 ones. That wasn't the winner, was it?
Was it high? Was it up the
Correct.
top?
It was the 4,000. And funnily enough, in this test, we effectively sold the exact same number at every single price point. But here's the thing that was more interesting. The customers that came in at the higher price points consumed the program, loved it, left 5-star reviews. The ones that came in at the £500 price point complained, asked for a refund.
Yeah, interesting. Which again is, that's classic human behaviour, isn't it? And we all know in business, the customers that give us the most grief and cause us the most hassle are invariably the customers that are paying us the least money, whatever, and that'll be the same in Rachel's salon as it is everywhere else. Other price rises, and this again might help a little bit, Rachel. I had a guy in Mastermind just last week. He's got a big food retail business, very, very large food retail business in the north of England. And when Rachel Thieves introduced the national insurance, the employer's national insurance, in her first budget. So obviously that put up his costs quite a bit. And because he employs a lot of people, a lot of part-time people that previously hadn't paid NI and everything. And so what happened was overall, tracking his numbers, his gross margin was down by 1.8% as a result of the changes that the government had made. So he needs to recover this margin. It's very important for him to do so. And what he did was really, this is really very smart. And again, Rachel, this could well apply to you, especially with all the products you've got in your salon. We'll talk about products in a minute, Rachel, and the staff and the penetration number that they're selling for you. But what he did was download his entire kind of inventory, all the items that he sells in his shop, which is hundreds and hundreds of items, and just use his good friend ChatGPT, and very straightforward, really. If the item had a price below £10, because this is a food retailer, so lots of small stuff, then the price was rounded up to the nearest 10p. And if the price was above £10, the price was rounded up to the nearest 25p. Okay, so relatively small adjustments, but the cumulative impact was a 2.1% uplift in his margin, which offset and a bit more the 1.8% degradation. So again, price rises don't have to be big deals. You don't have to go from 500.
It always stresses me out when I see anything for sale for however many pounds and 95 pence. Why are you throwing away that 4 pence? Because there's zero difference between 95 pence and 99 pence.
Yes.
And actually, those 4 pences soon add up if you're selling any decent volume of anything.
That's very true.
And when you are the business owner and you sit down and you do the maths, what you'll often find is that those 4 pences, that pays for your holiday.
Sure. Other things for Rachel to think about, she could increase her capacity. And this is not as drastic as going to open another salon. But look at your opening hours, Rachel. And just look at where there might be some, you've got a diary that's full. You'll have some of your therapists who'll be prepared to work some extra hours. You can have a little test there, but there might be some scope.
And you can tie it in to your physio example, because open
absolutely.
late into the evenings.
Yes, that's exactly.
Charge a bit more for
it. Yeah. And there's usually, it depends where you are again, geographically. Do we know where Rachel is? But again, if you're city centre, then early morning can be very, very good, because people coming into the workplaces getting treatments before, and Han, for instance, I know Isla would love to go to the salon before she arrived at work at 7 a.m.
I think that it would be worthwhile. I think we have talked about some great examples here, and hopefully have articulated to our wonderful viewers why price rises are so important. But I know where many people fall down is the actual tactical implementation of it. So maybe we should spend a second talking on, okay, you're going to do a price rise. Unlike the food example, which is a great, just hidden, discreet price rise, because you don't need to make any announcement.
No, not at all. That's right.
If you are going to, in a salon where you have regular people coming in and they use a price list as such, and you're going to increase it, tactically, how do you go about executing on that to ensure the best outcome?
I think that depending on what your business does and your relationship with your customers, you handle this quite differently. I think the easiest way to do a price rise for a lot of businesses is definitely not to send out some announcement that says you're raising your prices. This is not a good thing to do. A lot of times when you've got clients, when you've got customers who are used to paying you a certain amount, the sensible thing to do, particularly if this is, semi-irregular, or if they've been customers for a long time, even if all you do is just let people know that you're going to continue to serve them, and, next year at this price. I think actually announcing the new price without referencing the old price.
That's really important.
In so many situations, people won't even notice.
That's
because
exactly
what
right.
we think about in our heads as business owners, we're so ingrained, we're so in the day-to-day, we're so in this business, we forget all of our customers have lives. They've got so much other stuff going on.
They mean they don't think about us all the time?
Ridiculous, right? But it's true. And so you'll be so surprised when you're sat there stressed about, oh my God, can I round that price up? Can I put that up by, £5, £10, whatever it is? Particularly, in our industry, in B2B industry, if you're a service provider, things like that, got no idea how much we pay our, telephony provider, how much we pay the people running our IT support and stuff like that. Because you sort it out, you sign up, and then it's like 2 years down the line, and the direct debit's set up, things going on. And if they just sent an email, now's a great time to do it as well, ready for the new year, just confirming, really excited for helping you, continuing to help you in the new year. Your price in the new year is going to be this.
Yeah. I had a guy, again, in one of my mastermind groups 2-3 years ago, big IT support business. Classically, had not put his prices up for several years. And this was exactly what we steered him through doing, Cameron, and he was stunned by it, actually. So he wrote a letter. We helped him craft and hone the letter. Appreciate the business, etc. Just confirmed that for the next 12 months the price would be this. Didn't reference that actually it was less than this last year, and it just glided in.
Yeah.
I literally no questions and things like that. And what he discovered, from this is. That's a B2B scenario, but so many of his customers actually had no idea what they were paying him.
Yeah.
And so again, it is a lot of psychological barriers and head trash that kind of gets in the way. But the most important thing, I think this is really, in many ways, the most important message on this, and it applies to Rachel and to everyone else running a business. This is the key fundamental. When you put up your prices, you always end up making more money if you do it properly. And that doesn't mean that you won't lose some customers. Sometimes that does happen. But if you do this properly, the customers that you lose will be more than compensated for by the additional income that you get. And you've freed up capacity to bring in newer customers at the higher level, and your business is better off. And in that regard, it's a really worthy topic to give thought to.
I think that, we talk about how you announce price rises and how you deal with stuff like that. But this isn't about trying to, sneakily, manipulatively, get one over on our customers, things like that. But a lot of people, will pay more for what you're offering.
Yeah.
And actually, there's no benefit in complicating that message and causing them to suddenly start to question and doubt that, actually. And I think that maybe it's an interesting point for Rachel in particular. I think with a salon, you've probably got quite a close relationship with a lot of your clients. And the same is true with personal trainers. It's the bane of my life. I have a personal trainer, obviously. And
this doesn't cut.
And it's actually very annoying because he signed up to Entrepreneur Circle and is a member. And so we spend a lot of time telling people to raise their prices. And I spend a lot of time trying to convince him to do that for everyone else, not me. But I was talking with him about it, and obviously that's a similar relationship, personal trainer to kind of salon, because you're chatting for a long time. You get to know these people, and so you have a bit of a stronger relationship, which works both ways. Because on one hand, it means you can have kind of better, more open conversation about stuff. But on the other hand, it adds another dimension, because now you're almost raising the prices on your friend. And it's this is a bit awkward actually to have this conversation with you. I'm going to have to start charging you more. And I think that, my message out of this, I think that obviously COVID was very difficult for people like personal trainers, but the salons and stuff as well. And when we came back from COVID, my personal trainer did send me quite a sheepish WhatsApp message. I could tell from the tone. It wasn't his usual tone. It was one of those messages where you can tell someone spent a long time kind of crafting it to make sure it's right. And I got this message, and it basically said that because of COVID, that there's a lot more costs now involved in running his PT sessions. And he said, mainly the extra washing of towels, extra towel washing. And so he's going to have to put his prices up by £2.50 a session. And honestly, I still rinse him on this to this day because I said, I'm not being funny, not once have we ever used a towel in a single session. What are you talking about? You need to make excuses for these things. I get that in some instances you might have to, but also, were you not washing towels before? COVID isn't the reason to wash your towels, mate. You need to sort this out. So that was a funny example, but that's, in his mind, he had to come up with like a logical reason, like this has happened, da-da. And I guess one of the rare good things to come out of, you know, the other Rachel, not this one with the salon, is that there's no shortage of excuses. You know, there's a whole, the country is very much aware of the struggles that are going on right now. And so if you're looking for excuse or someone to blame, my goodness, then there's lots of stuff there. But actually, in so many cases, you don't need that. And actually, again, because you've got those relationships, a lot of people will actually understand. Yeah. And if you do this in the right way, and again, I think for Rachel in that business, it's not about just making the price of every service that you offer, you know, £5 more expensive. I think you're right in that there's better ways of doing this, starting to add things that are a higher price rather than just blanket enforcing it on people. Just make this pill just so much easier to swallow, doesn't it?
So Rachel, hopefully that's got you sorted out.
A lot to go out there for sure.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's some good examples there, guys.
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely. Wow.
You did good.
We're here to help.
Goodness me. I wonder what's going to come up next time. I wonder who will send us a scroll.
If you want it to be you guys, then here's what you need to do. Type out your question, type out your challenge in an email to podcast@entrepreneurscircle.org. No question is off limits, but the team will choose which ones we answer. So make it a good one, and perhaps we'll be helping you on a future episode of Business Grow Central.
Now, I'm off to book my appointment at Rachel's salon.
Here we go. Thank goodness.
Right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.